He's been on the show many times, but here is everyone's favorite nationalist or Welsh nationalist. Joe Marsh is live on Mood of the Nation. Hello, Joe. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Not too bad, thanks. What about yourself?
All right, I've only just got in now, like, you know. I did have a little listen earlier when I was in the car, like, but I didn't have much signal because I work in the valleys, like, see. But yeah, Rory's asking for an update. Basically, loads of things have happened. Like early this week, the hotel took the people back to court again to try and get the protests deemed as illegal. And the judge said no, they got a right to protest. And that night, there was about 300 people there, and they just decided they'd had enough. So they just all stormed into the hotel. I've put the videos on there. Like, I wasn't there because I didn't know what was happening. I was working anyway. But it was just loads of people turned up, and they just said, no, we've had it now. Let's just get in there. So they just charged into the hotel, and they were running around everywhere. And the place is a tip, right? There's all massive piles of rubbish because they had skips delivered, and the people, like, what they've done in Llanelli is they can't get any local firms to do anything. They want to take all this rubbish away, and they can't because no local firm will work for them. And people have been told that if you do work for that hotel, then you're a scab, right? Now, like, people in Wales, you know, people have said, oh, what's this calling people a scab thing? When people were known as scabs because they worked in the miners' strike, they were still having grief about it 20 years later, you know, because people down here don't forget. And so they're saying to any firm that delivers anything, any firm that tries to do any work for them is being told, you're scabs. So, and no one's going to use your firm. And obviously they're going to get hassle, you know, so they can't get the rubbish taken away. The place is chock-a-block with bin bags. And they were all running around in the hotel. The police turned up, and the police said, well, it's a civil matter. It's trespass, but like, it's not a criminal offense. There's nothing we can do. So the security couldn't get rid of the people. And during that night, 2:30 in the morning, the security firm just bailed out. They basically shit themselves and done a runner. There was loads of local lads running around in there with balaclavas on, and they just shit themselves, and they went, right? And then during the night, the hotel has been absolutely vandalized. There's been people have left all the taps on and blocked the sinks up, and all the ceilings have gone through, and it's just been wrecked. And like, the police have arrested 5 people, but some of the people are saying it wasn't the protesters who did the damage, it was the security before they left, because they knew the protesters would get the blame. But I don't know who did the damage, but the place is wrecked at the moment. And they've had like a lorry turn up today, and workmen, and a lot of the women got in the road and stopped them, and they turned back. And then later on, I saw, and I posted it on my Telegram, the guy that owns the company that hired that lorry out apologized to the protesters and said he didn't know it was somebody who was going to use it to work in the hotel. So they got a new security firm there now. Someone sent me a video earlier. They got foreign security there again, all stood around in balaclavas, because there's always foreigners working in these places, right? And they got no SIA cards. They're just, you know, I'm sure they're just saying, here's a bit of cash in the hand, like, you know. They're not proper security guards. It's disgusting, that is, anyway. But, like, they got this is the 3rd firm of security guards they've had who have stayed there for a little while and then just disappeared, you know. So now at the moment there's a massive police presence down there, and like, this is costing a fortune. Like, they've had like 15-20 coppers down there all day every day now, and like, that's before the migrants even get there. Do you know what I mean? So and this is a 5-year contract. So what David Power's police now are looking at having 20 officers outside.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
He's back. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, did you hear what I was saying? Like, you know, how can that police force, how can they pay, or how can they justify having to have 20 officers outside there, like for 5 years every day? And there's going to be, there'll be sporadic trouble all the time, you know, because the people down there won't give up. And the thing is, it's not like, in a situation like this, normally they'll arrest a few people, they'll take out people who they think are the ringleaders, but they can't do that down there because there's just so many people involved, because they do it on like a rotation basis. There's always 40, 50 people there, and then they go home and have a sleep or have a shower, or they have to go to work, and then someone else takes over. And like, you know, at the height of it, when there was all that trouble the other week, there was over 1,000 people there. So they can't stop this by arresting 5 or 6 people, taking away the ringleaders like they normally do. You know, they can't arrest their way out of it. So the only thing they really can do is scrap this idea and send them somewhere else. You know, and then hopefully the people in that town will do the same thing. You know, because that's the only way to get rid of them. This is the only way you can do it, is to basically camp out. And like, it's unheard of, because even down in Penally, when they put them 200 of them in the army camp down there was people there every day protesting, and I used to go down there as well. But people didn't used to sleep there. You know, this is a whole new ball game. This is people camping, people sleeping in caravans, sleeping in their cars. You know, and because they've had a few threats from Antifa, and somebody fired one of those Black Widow catapults through the window of the caravan one night, and they had Antifa threatening to go down and beat up the women and all that. So now they've got quite a few lads sleeping there regularly, like, you know. So, and there's been no sign of Antifa because they're just shit houses anyway. But yeah, that's so at the moment, that's where we're at. Like I said, they've arrested 5 people on suspicion of burglary, but somebody told me earlier that they were going to send me a video of the water like causing all this damage, and saying that the hotel doors were locked while it was happening. So that means the security did it and not the protesters. So I really don't know about that, like, you know. But the Wales Online and the media down here, they've said, oh, some of the protesters stormed into the hotel and their behavior was aggressive and unacceptable, and there's been a few arrests, but they've not said that the hotel's been trashed. But apparently it really is trashed, like, you know. Right. And like today, they tried to get workmen in to do some repairs, and they got turned away because people wouldn't get out the way of the road, like, you know. So they can't get anyone to do the work. It's unbelievable. And when people are trying to get in there, they're covering up the number plates on their vehicles because they don't want repercussions, like, you know. It's absolutely mad, it is. But yeah, well, I'll keep the updates coming, like, you know. Cool. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to get off though now. So I'll speak to you soon.
No worries, Joe. Well, thank you very much for coming on, and yeah, definitely keep us updated with Llanelli on Telegram and also on YouTube. Definitely give Joe a follow, and the more updates will come. But thank you again, Joe, for your time.
There's no worries. Do you know what? I've got a few, not so long ago when I started streaming, I was asking for people to sub to me on YouTube because I needed 100 subs to stream, and now I got 8,000. You know what I mean? It's flying up. It's like it went up 1,000 this week. You know, mental. I think it's all to do with Llanelli because everyone's interested in it. Like, you know.
That's like the big thing talking about, which I mean, it's really good numbers to see. In fact, I think you posted something on your channel, well, on Telegram at least, about was it the watch time or something like that? And you got like, what was it, 1 million or something like that, you said?
Oh, yeah, in the last 28 days, I've had 1.3 million views on there. I'm not just posting about Llanelli, I'm posting other things. It's mostly about Wales, you know? Yeah. But, yeah, well, you know, I'm trying to keep it so that there's no way they can shut me down, like, you know, but obviously you can't guarantee that. But until I get shut down, I'll just keep posting stuff, like, you know.
Yeah, of course.
That's it then. But all right then, well, I'll speak to you soon, and see you soon, guys.
No worries, Joe. Thanks very much for coming on. Take care.
Yeah, no worries. Ta-ra.
Take care.